Oh, you can work hard your whole life, and still regret everything at 60. Because some life lessons don't come from books or podcasts. They come from pain. If you're over 40, this one's for you. When we were young, we thought we had all the time in the world. We chased success. Chased people. Chased things. But after 40, something shifts. You start looking back and wondering, why did no one tell me this earlier? In this video, I'll share 10 real-life lessons that only truly sink in after 40. These are not theories. They're truths often learned too late. And if you're listening now, maybe you can use them to live better starting today. I spent 20 years chasing success. I worked 70 hours a week. Every week. For 2 decades. People called me a machine. A provider. Some even said, "You're the hardest working man I know." And I was proud of that. Proud of the emails at midnight. Proud of never taking vacations. Proud of missing birthdays, because I was building a future. But you know what I wasn't? Present. I was there, but I wasn't there. You understand that feeling? You're sitting at dinner, but your mind is on the next meeting. Your child is talking, but you only hear your phone buzzing. You say one more email and suddenly, 5 years have passed. One evening, when I was 55, I came home early. My son, now a tall teenager, was sitting at the kitchen table. I hadn't seen him much lately. He looked at me, and I smiled. "Hey, kid," I said. "How's school?" He paused, looked me straight in the eye, and said something that shattered me more than any failure, any lost deal, or insult ever could. "Dad, I don't really know you." I laughed nervously at first. "Come on, buddy. Don't say that." But he didn't smile. He just shrugged. "I mean, you're always working. You're always tired. You're never here." In that moment, everything inside me cracked. All the meetings. All the bonuses. All the late nights. They felt meaningless. Because the one person I thought I was working so hard for didn't even feel connected to me. Let me tell you something, especially if you're still in your 40s, money is replaceable. Time is not. You can lose money and make it back. You can start over at 50, even at 60. But when your daughter turns 10, you don't get another chance to watch her grow. When your parents die, you can't buy one more conversation with them. Time is the most expensive currency. And the cruelest part? You never know how much you have left. I used to say, "I'll make it up next weekend. Next year, we'll take that trip. Someday, I'll slow down." But here's the truth, someday is not a day of the week. And someday never came. Now, I'm trying to rebuild my relationship with my son. We talk more. I listen more. I leave my phone in the other room. But I miss the early years. No promotion is worth that. No title. No applause. So if you're watching this and you're still chasing something out there, please, hear this from someone who's been there. Don't trade your time for things that won't hold your hand when you're old. The clock is ticking. Not to scare you but to remind you, hourglass not done. Time is the only thing we spend, that we never get back. Spend it wisely. Health isn't guaranteed, it's rented. Rent is due daily, and after 40, the body sends the bill. You don't think about your body when you're young. You push it. You stretch it. You stay up all night, drink too much, skip meals, sleep 5 hours and wake up like nothing happened. But after 40, your body starts sending invoices. You eat fast food 3 days in a row and suddenly your stomach feels like it's filled with rocks. You stay up past midnight and the next morning feels like you've been hit by a truck. You sit too long, your back tightens. You climb stairs, your knees whisper, "You used to be nice to me." You start noticing little things, your energy dips at 3 p.m. You gain weight even though you're eating the same. You forget what you walked into the room for. It's subtle at first, but it gets louder with time. Because here's the truth they don't teach us when we're young: health is not guaranteed. It's rented. And the rent is due, every single day. You don't get to keep good health just because you used to be healthy. You can't outrun poor sleep with coffee. You can't outthink poor nutrition with motivation. At some point, the body calls in your choices. Let me ask you something: when was the last time you stretched, not because something hurt, but because it's good for you? When was the last time you drank water before your body screamed for it? When was the last time you walked just for your heart, not because you were late for a meeting? If your answer is, I can't remember, you're not alone. But it's time. After 40, your body is no longer forgiving, it's honest. Brutally honest. You skip sleep. You pay with fatigue and brain fog. You eat trash. You pay with bloating, weight gain, and mood swings. You stop moving. You pay with stiffness, joint pain, and weakness. The rent never stops. But the price goes up as you get older. And I get it, life is busy. You've got responsibilities, kids, aging parents, a job, bills. The last thing on your list is probably a salad and a 30-minute walk. But here's the hard truth: if you don't make time for your health, you will be forced to make time for your illness. I once met a man in his early 60s, strong, sharp, full of life. I asked him what his secret was. He said, I treat my health like a relationship. If I ignore it, it leaves me. If I love it, it loves me back. So today, just do one thing: go for a walk, drink a full glass of water. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Eat something green. Not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you're paying rent on the only home you'll ever live in, your body. It's not too late. It never is. But the longer you wait, the higher the cost. So start today. Not next week. Not on Monday. Today. Because health doesn't wait. And neither should you. Most relationships are seasonal. Not everyone is meant to stay. And that's okay. There was a time when I thought every friendship had to last forever. That if someone drifted away, something was wrong. Maybe I failed them. Maybe they failed me. Maybe we were supposed to fix it. But after 40, I realized something both painful and freeing: most relationships are seasonal. Some people are in your life for a reason. Others for a season. Few for a lifetime. And learning to tell the difference, that's one of the most peaceful things you'll ever do. I remember my best friend from my 20s. We used to talk every day. He knew my secrets. I knew his dreams. We helped each other through breakups, job hunts, heartbreak, hangovers. I thought, we'll be old men together, drinking coffee and complaining about our knees. Now, I haven't spoken to him in 8 years. No fight. No big moment. Just silence. Life moved. He moved. I moved. I used to carry guilt about that. Why didn't I call? Why didn't he? Wasn't our bond real? But then I looked closer. He came into my life when I needed a brother. And when that season passed, he left. That doesn't make the friendship fake. It makes it real for its time. The same happened with co-workers I once shared dreams with. Neighbors I once called family. Even lovers I thought I'd never live without. They were there, and then they weren't. And not because they were bad people. Not because I was. Just because that was their part in my story. And my part in theirs. You see, not every person who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some are teachers. Some are mirrors. Some are storms that clear the way for peace. And some, are simply beautiful, short chapters in the book of your life. After 40, you begin to notice, the guest list of your life gets smaller but more meaningful. You no longer chase those who left. You no longer beg for space in rooms where you don't belong. Instead, you say, "Thank you, for your season." And you move on with love. There's no anger in that. Only acceptance. And maybe a little nostalgia. It's okay to miss people. It's okay to wish them well from afar. But don't hold on too tightly to who someone was when they're no longer that person. And neither are you. Here's the truth, letting go isn't losing. It's making space. For new connections. For deeper bonds. For people who belong in your now, not your past. So if you're holding guilt about a friendship that faded, a sibling who no longer calls, a partner who walked away, breathe. Not every goodbye needs a reason. Some are just part of growing up. And that's okay. Some flowers bloom in spring. Others in winter. And some only once. But they're all beautiful, while they last. Let them go gently. Apologies without excuses are powerful. At this age, owning your mistake is stronger than explaining it. I used to be terrible at saying sorry. Not because I didn't feel bad. But because I didn't want to look wrong. I wanted to be understood. Justified. So every "I'm sorry" came with a but. "I'm sorry I said that, but I was tired. I'm sorry I missed your call, but I had a crazy day. I didn't mean to hurt you, but you were being dramatic. I thought I was being honest. But really I was hiding." And then one day, someone I deeply care about said something I'll never forget. They looked at me and said, "You know, every time you add a but to your apology, it makes me feel like you're not actually sorry." That hit me like a brick. I had been so focused on protecting my pride that I had missed the whole point of apologizing. An apology isn't about you. It's not a courtroom defense. It's not a negotiation. It's a gift. A moment of humility. A bridge back to trust. And every time you add an excuse, you burn that bridge a little more. After 40, you realize, being right is overrated. Being real is everything. You begin to understand that it's okay to say, "I messed up. I hurt you. I'm sorry." And then, stop talking. No lecture. No self-defense. No blame shifting. Just ownership. You see, there's a strange kind of strength in standing naked in your mistake. Not trying to dress it up. Not trying to twist it into something smaller. Just saying, "I did this. I regret it. I see you." That kind of apology. It heals things silence never could. I've seen marriages softened by those words. Friendships salvaged. Sons hug their fathers again. Brothers reconnect after years. All because one of them finally dropped the armor, and said sorry without a shield. These days, when I feel I've hurt someone, I don't wait 3 days to figure out the right sentence. I don't write a paragraph explaining my mood. I simply say, "I'm sorry. That was wrong of me." That's it. And you know what? That kind of apology doesn't make you weak. It makes you honest. Human. Grown. So if you're watching this, and there's someone you owe that kind of apology to, don't wait. Don't let pride cost you love. Don't let ego steal peace. Text them. Call them. Look them in the eye, and say it with your whole heart. "I'm sorry." No excuses. Just me trying to be better. And then, let the healing begin. After 40, you no longer chase chaos. You protect peace like treasure. At some point you stop craving loud. You stop looking for chaos, even if, once upon a time, it made you feel alive. Because after 40, you begin to understand something powerful: peace is not boring. Peace is priceless. In your 20s and 30s, drama felt like fire. You fought. You chased. You clapped back. You needed to be heard. You needed to win. Silence felt like losing. Stillness felt like weakness. You thought, if I'm not fighting for it, it must not be real. But time teaches you differently. You start to see that some battles aren't worth winning. Some conversations don't need answers. And some people are addicted to noise because they're afraid of looking inward. There was a woman I used to know, a friend, or maybe a lesson. She brought fire to every room she entered. At first, it felt exciting. She was passionate, raw. Every phone call was intense. Every message a storm. But over time, I realized I was tired. Not of her, but of who I had to become around her. Defensive. Reactive. Wired. One day, after an argument over something I can't even remember, she said, "You've changed." And I said, "No. I've just stopped entertaining what drains me." That was the last time we spoke. And you know what? I didn't feel sad. I felt peace. Because that's the thing about peace, it's quiet but it speaks volumes. It's soft but it makes you strong. It doesn't come from everyone agreeing with you. It comes from not needing them to. It doesn't come from control. It comes from surrender. After 40, you start protecting your peace like it's your retirement fund. You become selective not just with people, but with energy. You leave the argument unread. You walk away from the shouting. You delete the text you know will open a door to nowhere. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough not to need the last word. You trade being right for being rested. You trade proving your point for protecting your heart. You choose soft mornings, clean conversations, laughter over tension. And if that costs you a few people along the way, so be it. Peace over drama. Every time. That's not giving up. That's growing up. Freedom begins when you stop performing. You spend so much of your life performing, worrying how you look, how you sound, what they'll say, what they'll think. You hold back opinions. You force the smile. You replay conversations at night, wondering, did I sound stupid? Did I say too much? Let me tell you something you might not believe yet, but you need to hear. Most people aren't thinking about you. They're too busy thinking about themselves. That sounds cold, right? But actually it's liberating. They're not judging your shoes. They're thinking about their own outfit. They're not analyzing your voice. They're worried if they sounded confident enough. Everyone's starring in their own movie. You're just a 3-second cameo in most of their scenes. After 40, you start to see the truth. All that pressure you felt, most of it was imagined. Self-built. Self-fed. You weren't rejected, they were distracted. You weren't awkward, they just didn't notice. You weren't judged, they forgot by lunchtime. And if someone did judge you, ask yourself, do their opinions pay your bills? Do they sleep in your bed? Do they raise your kids? If not, then why do their thoughts rent so much space in your mind? I used to walk into rooms and wonder if I was enough. Now I walk into rooms and wonder if that room is right for me. It's a shift. A powerful one. And it doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from freedom. Freedom from the fake mask. Freedom from people pleasing. Freedom from the exhausting weight of perfect. Because perfection is an act. And we're too old for acting. After 40, you realize, you don't need to impress anyone who doesn't care. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that keeps you small. You don't need permission to be authentic, flawed, real. So wear the outfit you like. Say the truth gently. Laugh loud. Dance awkwardly. Ask the question, Take up space. And if someone stares, let them. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to be you deeply, unapologetically, peacefully you. You've spent enough years trying to fit in. Now's the time to stand still, and belong to yourself. That's the moment everything changes. That's the moment you get your life back. The trip, the laugh, the moment, those are what stay. I used to think success looked like things. A nicer car. A bigger house. A new phone. The kind of watch that makes people notice when you move your wrist. And for a while, I chased those things. Bought them. Collected them. Even showed them off a little. It felt good. Until it didn't. Because somewhere between 40 and 50, I started noticing something. I couldn't remember the shoes I bought 3 years ago, but I still remembered my daughter falling asleep on my chest after her first nightmare. I forgot what phone I had in 2016, but I remember the way my father laughed when we grilled together the last summer before he passed. You see, stuff fades. It gets scratched, outdated, replaced. But experiences, they stay. They grow richer with time. They become part of you. I remember one road trip with my wife. It was nothing fancy. We got lost, the AC broke, we ate at a terrible roadside diner, and we laughed so hard we cried. That memory is clearer than any paycheck I've ever earned. After 40, you start to understand, the best parts of life aren't things. They're moments. They're people. They're stories you want to tell again and again. No one lies on their deathbed and says, I wish I bought more stuff. They say, I wish I had taken more time. I wish I'd gone on that trip. I wish I'd told them I loved them, when I had the chance. Stuff demands maintenance. Experiences feed your spirit. Stuff makes you anxious to keep up. Experiences make you grateful to slow down. Stuff clutters your home. Experiences clear your heart. It doesn't mean money isn't important. It just means how you use it, matters more. You can spend $500 on a gadget. Or you can take your kids somewhere they'll remember for the rest of their life. You can buy another dress. Or take your mother out for tea and listen to the story she's told you 100 times, because one day, she won't be there to tell it again. So these days, I don't buy much. But I say yes to long walks. To new places. To small dinners with big laughter. To sitting in silence with people I love and calling that joy. You can always buy more things. But you can't buy back a missed moment. So take the trip. Say yes to the concert. Drive just to watch the sunset. Get in the photo, even if you hate how you look. Live it. Don't just collect it. Because in the end, the only things worth carrying, are the memories you made while your hands were empty. After 40, boundaries are not rude, they are necessary. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said yes, when everything in you wanted to say no? How many times have you let something slide, just to keep the peace? How many times have you walked away from a conversation, feeling smaller, disrespected, unheard, but told yourself, it's not worth the fight? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Most of us were taught to be nice, not clear. To avoid conflict, not build boundaries. But here's the truth, especially after 40, you teach people how to treat you not by what you say, but by what you allow. When you let someone speak over you, they learn you'll stay quiet. When you answer every call, every request, every last-minute demand, they learn your time isn't sacred. When you forgive without conversation, without correction, without consequences, they learn they can keep doing it. I used to think being liked was the goal. That being easygoing made me kind. But I've learned kindness without boundaries isn't kindness. It's self-erasure. Respect doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from teaching people, this is what's okay. This is what's not. This is how I expect to be treated. And if they walk away when you set that standard, let them. Because the people who truly value you, will adjust. The ones who only valued what you gave them, will leave. And that's a gift. Because after 40, you don't have time for one-sided loyalty. You don't owe your energy to people who drain it. You don't have to explain your worth to anyone. Boundaries are not walls. They don't keep love out. They keep self-respect in. They say, I love you, and I also love me. I want to help, but not at the cost of my peace. I hear you, but I will not tolerate disrespect. And here's the best part, when you start honoring your own boundaries, you attract people who do the same. Your relationships get healthier. Your stress gets lower. Your voice gets stronger. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop explaining your no, you stop editing yourself to make others comfortable. Because you've finally learned, teaching others how to treat you starts with how you treat yourself. With respect. With gentleness. With clarity. So today, say it out loud even if your voice shakes, that doesn't work for me. Please don't speak to me like that. No, not this time. And if they call you rude, let them. Because at this stage of life, peace feels better than approval. Always. Reinvention isn't for the young, it's for the brave. I used to think change had a deadline. That you had to figure your life out by 30. That your best years were somewhere between your 20s and 40s. That after 50, you were supposed to settle into who you are, into what you've become, into whatever mistakes you made along the way. But I was wrong. I met a man who went back to school at 62. He'd spent 40 years fixing cars and one day decided to become a therapist. He said, I've fixed engines my whole life. Now, I want to fix people. And he did. I know a woman who left a 25-year marriage at 55. She had no job, no savings, no plan. But she had a voice again. And the first night she slept alone, she said, it was the first time in decades I could breathe. And me? I changed careers at 48. Started writing again. Picked up a guitar. Apologized to people I hurt. Started therapy. Got quiet. Learned how to be alone and how to like myself. Change doesn't care how old you are. It only cares if you're willing. Some people die at 30. But aren't buried until 75. They stop dreaming. Stop growing. Stop risking. They just exist. That's not aging. That's surrender. But you. If you're watching this, you're not done. You're not too late. Not too old. Not too broken. Not too stuck. You're just on the edge of something new. Something brave. Something yours. They'll say, it's risky at your age. But isn't staying stuck a bigger risk? They'll say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But we're not dogs. We're humans. We evolve. We grow through pain. Through choice. Through truth. Let me tell you the secret to change at any age, you don't have to leap. You just have to lean. One step. One new habit. One decision that says, I won't waste another year being someone I'm not. Don't wait for the perfect time. It doesn't exist. Don't wait for approval. No one is coming to give it. Don't wait for permission. This is your life. You already have the pen. Rewrite the ending. Begin again even in your 50s, 60s, 70s. The only thing worse than failing, is wondering what would have happened if you tried. So change. Be bold. Make them say, you're doing that at your age. And smile when they do. Because reinvention is not for the young. It's for the brave. And you, my friend, are just getting started. Warm coffee. No debt. A quiet moment. That's success. You've been taught that happiness is at the top of a mountain. That it's something you chase, climb toward, earn. You were told happiness comes with the raise, the title, the house, the relationship, the praise. And so, you spent your younger years running. But here's what you realize after 40, happiness isn't loud. It's quiet. It's small. And it was never far away. It's the first sip of coffee in silence. It's your dog running to the door when you get home. It's laughing over nothing with someone you love. It's going to bed without anxiety. It's waking up without regret. It's clean sheets. A good book. A phone call that ends with I love you. Happiness isn't on the next level. It's in this one if you slow down enough to see it. But we overcomplicate it. We think it has to be perfect to be real. We scroll, compare, chase. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when they finally understand me. And in the meantime, life passes. The baby becomes a teenager. The parent becomes a memory. The mirror changes slowly, until suddenly. Happiness is not something you find. It's something you notice. It's already here. It always was. You just had too much noise to hear it. And here's the beautiful part, you don't need a new life. You need new eyes. Look around. Who's still with you? What's still possible? What small things are keeping you sane, right now? Today, maybe you didn't win the world. But you had a quiet moment. You laughed. You breathed deeply. You made it through. That's not failure. That's life. That's grace. That's enough. After 40, happiness becomes less about more, and more about less. Less stress. Less drama. Less pretending. Less pressure. And more presence. So breathe. Look up. Put the phone down. Go outside. Touch the sun. Hug longer. Forgive sooner. Say thank you out loud. You don't have to climb higher. You just have to stand still long enough to realize you're already where joy lives. And it's been waiting for you to notice. So, which life lesson hit you the hardest? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this video spoke to you, tap like, share it with someone over 40, and hit subscribe. Because the next lesson might be the one you've been waiting your whole life to hear. And hey, don't stop here. Watch this next video, 5 biggest regrets people have after 60. You still have time. Use it wisely. Fade out with soft music.